I'm going to introduce you to Amy Carton. Amy is a Programme Manager and Citizen Science Advocate. She was formerly part of the Citizen Science League for Cancer Research UK. And whilst at Cancer Research UK, she oversaw the development of Play to Cure, Genes in Space, the world's first free mobile game that uses the collective force of players to analyse real genetic data and help to beat cancer. Amy.
Hello, St. Andrews. Lovely to meet you all. You're nearly there now, just a couple to go. The day's been fascinating. I have to say, massive thanks. It's a privilege and an honour to be in a TEDx stage, so thanks for the invite, which is amazing. I'm here to talk to you about Play to Cure. And I've put a question mark there. Is it going to be the new norm? I'm going to punch out right at the beginning here and say damn straight. Getting real-life people involved in real-life science should be the new norm. Until there's a computer or an algorithm that's better than a human being in analysing cancer data, we need help. And we need to get the eyes of the world onto our data. So we have one thing in common. And the thing that we all have in common, and will have throughout our lives, is cancer. Now I'm going to hedge a bet that each and every single one of us in here has at some time in your lives been affected by cancer. If that's not through your own personal experience, it's possibly going to be through that of a loved one, a work colleague, a friend, or someone you know. So if we just have a quick show of hands as to who has actually been impacted by cancer at all at any point in your life. Yeah, it's pretty much a full house. That's quite a start, right? And I had my own little encounter with cancer a couple of years ago, when I had what is called a cancer scare. Now, cancer scares are very non-seal. They do what they say in the tin, and they scare the hell out of you when you think you're going to get those immortal words, it's cancer. I was lucky. After a minor operation, I was given the all clear, and it was just that, it was a scare. But it changes you, and it changes your friends and family and everyone around you, because it doesn't just affect you. And today alone, in the UK, 850 people are hearing those words, we've got cancer. About a third of us in this room, at some point in our lifetimes, is going to develop the disease. Now, if you play that out throughout the whole of the world, this year alone, 12.7 million people are going to be told they have cancer, and sadly half of us are going to pass away. Now, isn't that just outrageous? Aren't those figures absolutely huge in this day and age? Isn't it incredible to think that cancer kills more people than AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis combined? So that's what we're dealing with here. We've got a massive challenge on our hands, and we've had cancer institutes around the world for over 100 years. So we need to challenge the status quo. Something needs to change. And it's my view, strongly felt, as you can imagine, that games such as Play to Cure are the very vehicle to make this change. But it's not all doom and gloom. I'm not here to upset you. It is actually very positive, and we are in a golden age of technology. Right now, we have made more positive inroads into cancer research than ever before. I don't know if you remember the news recently, the test that Angelina Jolie took when she decided to have a double mastectomy. That's a huge decision. But that's because we understand genetics and genetic testing more than ever before. So she was able to make that decision to stay alive for her kids. Isn't that just fantastic? And today, there's at least one cancer that's almost been cured, testicular cancer. The survival rate is about 96%, but there are 200 cancers. So we need to do more, and we need to do more a lot quicker. So the problem that we have is the same at most businesses right now, and that is a big data problem. Whilst technological advances are fantastic, we are churning out terabytes and petabytes of data. Our scientists literally cannot get through it quick enough. They're drowning in it. They need help. And it's their hypothesis that it's people like you and me can actually help them. Because the peculiar thing about cancer research data is that your eyes are far superior than any computer in this world at analysing cancer data. Because you have far superior pattern recognition, intuition, that can understand and interpret data far better than any computer algorithm can do. So that's a roof. That is the roof of Angel Building in North London. And on my first day at Cancer Research UK, I was given a rooftop challenge. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of them before. I know I haven't. But my rooftop challenge, I was given a couple of pieces of paper, and the first one mentioned something called citizen science. And again, it's about involving real-life people in real-life authentic problems. Now, citizen science is a very old term, and it's been around since Darwin. He was a prolific letter writer. He, in 1 year, wrote 1,500 letters. And do you know what he was doing? He was gathering information from all around the world, from housewives and academics alike, and asking them to share their observations with him, so that he could come up with his theories and he could validate his theories. He really is the godfather of citizen science. And just imagine what he could have done if he had the internet. And just imagine what we can do, because we have the internet. We have access to millions of people around the world who come and get involved and make a difference and directly accelerate cures for cancer. And then casually, at the end of this talk, my director said, you know, mate, wouldn't it be great if we could wrap up some cancer data, maybe make it into a mobile game? You know, maybe something along the lines of Angry Birds, you know, have you heard of it? And this is Angry Birds, the world's leading mobile phone game. And that was the challenge to me. That was my rooftop challenge. Could I come in and convince scientists to relinquish their precious data and to see if we could make it into something that people wouldn't be scared of and would want to come and get involved? So off I went. And the first thing you do with any new project is you look around you and you look at the market and you look at who is doing it best. We wanted to go for best of breed. And we came across a fantastic group called the Zooniverse. Now what the Zooniverse did was they put a challenge out to NASA. NASA, with their billions of pounds worth of machinery, basically said to the world, it's okay guys, we've nailed it. We've mapped out the whole of the universe. We know how many planets there are. We know how many galaxies there are and all the stars. It's all done. But as a courtesy, we're going to put this data into a virtual library for you. So, you know, knock yourselves out. Go and have a look, see what you can do. Now, this virtual library held millions and billions of images. There was no way one scientist team was going to be able to get through that, right? So what this group did at Zooniverse, they set their interns on it. And they wanted to see how many images he could get through in 1 week. And his name's Kevin. So Kevin Week is now 50,000 images. So kudos to Kevin. I don't think he slept much. But 50,000 images, let's face it, in amongst data sets that are millions and billions, is pretty much a drop in the ocean. So what these guys did was they got together in the pub, where you have most of your best ideas, I'm sure, and over weekends they threw that data online. And they put the challenge out to see if people would get involved. And in 48 hours, one of their first project, Planet Hunters, had over 100,000 people come and get involved. And a chap called Christopher Holmes, who I'm inspired by this guy here, the opposite of this guy who's looking at a telescope. Christopher had never even looked at a telescope before. He had literally next to no interest in astronomy. But he heard about this Planet Hunters, he went and had a go, and he found a new planet. And that planet now hopefully is going to be called after him. But more exciting than that, there was a Dutch girl called Hanny. And she went in to Galaxy Zoo, and she went through a tutorial, and she was told to identify galaxies. Now that big swirly thing there is a galaxy. That's all she needed to do. Go in, see a galaxy, tick, boom, done. Now, what Hanny saw was that green dot, and it bugged her. It wasn't in the tutorial, but she wanted to know what that was. And that's the genius about getting people involved in your data, because a machine cannot see that green dot because it doesn't know it's there. Whereas a human being, you're instantly drawn to it. So what she did was that she put up a message board, and she just called it Give Peas a Chance. And she threw it out, and all around the world, it was incredible, people were seeing these green dots in their own images. And between them, what they did was, they mapped out something that had never been seen before. They mapped out a process that astronomers knew happened, but hadn't actually been captured. Because again, whilst they knew it happened, they didn't know what it looked like, so they didn't know what to tell the computer to look for. And this is what they found. This green blob here is a gas cloud. And this gas cloud is going from an active state to an inactive state. And again, it had never been captured. And Hanny, because she found it, the great thing about being a citizen scientist is you get a prize, and you get to name it after whatever you want. So Hanny called it Hanny's Reward, which in Dutch is Hanny's Thingy, which has now been incorporated into scientific literature. It's pretty big time. But for me, this is what I saw immediately. You can see it doing a little pirouette. Cheeky little frog. But that is the genius about getting people. It's that serendipitous discovery. And you've got to think, you know, if we put cancer data out there, what could people find? What new breakthrough or discovery for a new cure could people find? So that was absolutely the inspiration. However, our data is pretty scary looking. That's pretty stark. That's real data. Someone has given that data as part of a trial, and it's a precious donation. And so we needed to wrap it up in an engaging way, and we held a hackathon, which is getting gamers and developers together over a weekend, and they coded a kind of a game for us. It's a bit of a leg stretch calling it a game, because essentially it's just an elaborate game of Snap. But what you do is you can go in and analyze cancer data, and you can do it now. And you get an image on the left-hand side, and you basically match it to the image on the right-hand side. You're only asked 4 questions. One is, can you see cancer data? If yes, how many can you see? Is there yellow staining on it, and how bright is it? It's so easy to do. It's quite addictive. I've done hundreds, and a chap in Finland has done a couple of thousand for us. But it isn't the most engaging. It wasn't answering my rooftop challenge. Now, we have another set of data at Cancer Research UK, which is gene data, which is just lots of little dots. Now, computers can see the big peaks and troughs, but what computers can't understand, and I'm sure your eyes are drawn to, is the noise that is occurring in between it. The subtleties, the slight changes and nuances that leads to those peaks and troughs. A computer can't see that because it just gets too confused, and the computer will just reproduce that, and you're really not gaining anything. So, pretty tedious, pretty boring, and we knew we couldn't put that online. We knew we couldn't do a sell-sider with it. So here was the chance to meet the Rooftop Challenge and try and get this Angry Birds game sorted. So I organised a game jam, which was just, again, a weekend, totally concentrated on gaming. But this was a weekend with a difference because we had help. We collaborated with Google, Facebook, and Amazon Web Services. It's the first time in the world those 3 massive giants have ever come together and collaborated. And it's the first time they've ever been on a press release together. I mean, how fantastic is that? And the biggest pushback we had was the ordering of their names on that press release. And Google and Facebook were not very happy. And I'm sure you can imagine why. Because we went with alphabetical ordering. And Amazon Web Services were delighted. We also had help from City University and the Rational Group, who've been helping us since in support of this game. Now, they came up with lots of gaming prototypes while they were working literally 48 hours in a row. One chap got a prize for not sleeping. That's how intense it was. And out the window went coffee. It was all about bread rolls. It was anything to get them through. But these guys are amazing, giving up their weekends to help to beat cancer. And what we did was we analysed all the games they came up with, decided the right mechanic, and joined together with a group called Ability to create what is now Genes in Space. So I'm going to very quickly show you a demo and come back and tell you just how successful it's been.
Spaceships, asteroids, and space dust. Not the usual checklist to beat cancer. Until now. Genes in Space is a new pioneering mobile phone game which genuinely helps scientists in their mission to beat cancer soon. And here's the clever bit. As you steer through the galaxy collecting a valuable space dust dubbed element alpha, you're simultaneously identifying critical faults in real gene data. What takes scientists hours can now be done in minutes with your help and the collective force of thousands of players. And the more players we have, the quicker we get results and bring forward a day when all cancers are cured. You don't have to wear a lab coat to help beat cancer soon.
So how cool is that? That is the world's first mobile game ever using biomedical data to help to accelerate cures for cancer. And each and every single person that goes, and just gives a couple of minutes to it, is actually having quite some fun at the same time, is actually directly accelerating cures for cancer. Because the incredible thing is that these work. CellSlider, we're going to publish a peer-reviewed paper at the end of this year, which says that in data similar to that, using a mechanism similar to that, we can accelerate cures for cancer by 80%. We can reduce research analysis timeframes by 80%, which means that we can leave our scientists to use their expertise to look at the remaining 20%, to try and look for breakthroughs that could lead to cures for cancer. And this has been a phenomenal success. In the first month, The citizen scientists, hundreds of thousands of people around the world, they analyse data that is the equivalent of 6 months' work for our scientists, and it is the equivalent of 64 kilometres worth of data. And do you know what that looks like? This. It is the equivalent of 13,000 Loch Ness monsters. That's what they have done for us and for our scientists, which is pretty big time. And in an age now where the world is becoming increasingly enveloped in data, where scientists throughout the world in all disciplines are literally drowning in data, wouldn't it be incredible if there were lots of games like this? Wouldn't it be incredible if it wasn't just cancer data, and not just cancer UK data, it could be big pharma data. And it doesn't even need to be new games. You can absolutely take data and put it into existing games. So just imagine a world where you are playing Angry Birds, and as you're pulling back the little cheeky fella to let him go, he's actually negotiating some form of medical data underneath. It'd be gaming for good. It'd be doing exactly what you're doing anyway, capturing your attention, but doing it for good and doing it for the best of cancer. So this is the future, and again, I take you back to the hypothesis. It's absolutely, I believe, the way forward to engage people in our data until there's a computer that is as good as you or I at looking at this data. So what I'd love you to do is to download the app, go and have a go, and you can make a difference in your own way. Thank you very much.